I was still holding the pumpkin pie when my dad told me not to come home again. It was warm, her favorite. I made it the night before using Mom's old recipe, the one with extra nutmeg and a little maple syrup, just like she liked it. I drove 3 hours through fog to bring it, like I did every year. It was Thanksgiving. I thought I was home. We hadn't even said grace. The turkey wasn't cut yet. The stuffing was hot in the fancy dish Mom only used once a year. I was still standing, smiling, holding the pie when Dad said, "Give back the $50,000, Teresa, or don't bother coming home again." At first, I thought I didn't hear him right, or maybe he was joking in bad taste. Dad wasn't the dramatic type, and our family didn't do drama on Thanksgiving, at least, not until that night. But no one laughed. Lisa sat stiffly, hands in her lap like someone had died. David stared at the table. Even Mom, gentle, quiet Mom, wouldn't look at me. I didn't sit. I couldn't. The pie felt heavy in my hands, like something had changed. I looked at it, confused, like it might explain what was going on. "Excuse me?" I said. Dad's jaw tightened. "Don't make this harder than it has to be. What are you accusing me of?" Lisa finally looked at me. Her eyes were red like she'd been crying, but her voice was steady. "Mom's bank account, $50,000 disappeared last month, right after you helped her set up online banking." I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. I had helped Mom with her online banking. She didn't trust doing things digitally, so I sat with her one Sunday, showed her the app, helped her with passwords and security questions. She even wrote everything down in a little notebook we kept in the kitchen. That was 4 weeks ago. And now they thought I stole from her. "You think I took Mom's money?" I whispered. David finally spoke. His voice was stiff, like it hurt him to talk. "We didn't want to believe it, but the bank said the money was taken online. No one else had access. Except me." I looked at Mom. She didn't look up. She just dabbed her mouth with a napkin like she felt sick. That's when it hit me. The pie, the long drive, the family tradition, none of it mattered. They didn't see me as family anymore. I was the one they blamed. I set the pie down gently on the counter. The tin made a soft sound against the stone. I picked up my coat from the back of a chair. I didn't say anything. "You have until the end of the week," Dad said quietly, "then we go to the lawyer." I didn't cry in the car. I didn't scream or yell like in the movies. I just drove, coat half on, pie still sitting on the counter behind me. The streets were calm, glowing with porch lights and Thanksgiving decorations. The town smelled like dinner and warmth, but not for me. I stopped at a little roadside and I always passed but never used. The clerk didn't ask why I needed a room on a holiday. I was grateful for that. The room smelled like old carpet and microwave popcorn. I took off my boots and sat on the bed, my hands shaking. I'm 34, a senior forensic accountant trusted with millions of dollars, and my own family thought I stole from them. The worst part? I wasn't even shocked. Not completely. There had been signs. Lisa rolling her eyes when Mom talked about my job, Dad asking if I was ever going to settle down, like my work didn't count. Last Christmas, when I offered to pay for a new roof, David mumbled that I was just trying to buy their love. I thought they were just kidding. I thought we were still a family. I lay on the bed and stared at the ceiling. I kept going over the day Mom asked me to help her with her bank account. Every step, every password, every click. Did I miss something? Could someone else have seen the notebook we kept in the kitchen drawer? That drawer was never locked. Anyone could open it. Lisa still lived at home sometimes. David had a key to the house. Yes, I helped Mom set things up, but that didn't mean I was the only one who knew how to get into her account. Still, they believed it. They believed I waited until Mom got sick just to steal her money. $50,000. As if I needed it. As if I ever would. My phone buzzed. It was a text from Lisa. "We didn't want it to come to this, but you made it hard to trust you. No, happy Thanksgiving. No, are you okay?" Just that. Like I'd done something wrong. Like I was the one who needed to say sorry. I turned my phone over so I wouldn't see the screen. At work, I tracked down hidden money trails, fake companies, fake bills, secret theft. I know how people make money disappear and blame someone else. And now, it felt like someone was blaming me. I stared at the ceiling until my eyes got blurry. If they were going to treat me like the guilty one, maybe it was time to act like the expert I am and dig into the truth. The next morning, I woke up early without an alarm. It was just habit. Years of tracking corporate fraud taught me something important. Money doesn't just vanish. It goes somewhere. You just have to figure out who benefits. I grabbed a cup of bitter motel coffee and opened my laptop at the small desk. My team had been working on a case about elder financial abuse. Some older people were having their savings emptied in 3 cash withdrawals, each just under the amount that would raise red flags at the bank. It wasn't just one bank, but one name kept showing up more than the others. Greenwell Mutual. Mom's bank. I hadn't told my family I was working on this case. It was supposed to be private, but I had access to the data. I knew who to ask. I sent a quick message to Theo, the person handling the case, just Mom's name, the date range, and her town. An hour later, he sent me everything: dates, amounts, bank records. 3 cash withdrawals from Mom's account, 5 days apart. First, $20,000. Second, $15,000. Third, $15,000. All done in person, not online. That changed everything. They blamed me because I helped Mom set up her online account. They said I was the only one who could have done it. But if someone took the money in person, it couldn't have been me. Then I saw the link to the security footage. It was low quality, but clear enough. The first video loaded. Greenwell Mutual, October 10th, 2:13 p.m. A young woman walked up to the counter, looking around nervously, blonde ponytail, gray hoodie, big sunglasses. At first, I thought it was a stranger, maybe someone paid to act like Mom. Then the woman pulled down her mask to talk to the teller. It was Lisa. Even with the blurry video, I recognized her right away. I'd seen that face my whole life, watched her blow out birthday candles, cry over breakups, beg Mom for second chances. Now, she was tapping her fingers on the counter, fidgeting, and stealing from our mother. She handed over what looked like Mom's ID and signed a form. Her handwriting hadn't changed since high school. I leaned back in the motel chair, the ceiling light buzzing above me. They didn't just take the money, they planned it. They waited until I helped Mom set up her online account, then used that moment to make it look like I stole the money. I opened the second video, October 15th, same bank. This time, it was David. No disguise, no stress. He looked relaxed, even joked with the teller, like it was his own account. Then the third video, Lisa again. Same hoodie, different sunglasses, so bold it made me feel sick. But I still had one question: how did they get Mom's ID and her banking info? Then I remembered something. 2 weeks before I helped Mom with the online setup, she went to the hospital for some tests. Nothing major. Lisa had offered to stay with her overnight. Mom kept her purse with her the whole time, her checkbook, bank papers, and driver's license. That's probably when it started. I checked the setup records. The first login after I left town didn't come from Mom's phone. It came from a tablet using the house's Wi-Fi, the same Wi-Fi Lisa always used for Netflix. And the one-time password? It went to a backup email I never set up. I looked it up. The phone number connected to that email? It belonged to David. They weren't just careless, they were confident. They thought no one would ask questions, especially if the successful daughter looked like the most obvious suspect. I closed the laptop. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It wasn't someone borrowing money and planning to give it back. It was fraud. And they had used my love for Mom to hide it. I zipped up my laptop bag and picked up my phone. I didn't call the police, not yet. I called my office. I asked Theo to send me something specific, teller signature records, for comparison. Then I opened my suitcase and took out a thin black folder, the kind I use in court presentations. If they wanted to make me the bad guy, I'd show them what the real villain looked like, one with evidence. I didn't call ahead. I drove back Monday afternoon, just as the sun hit that soft golden light that used to make the house feel warm. Not today. The driveway was full: David's SUV, Lisa's car, Mom's old sedan, no guests, just family. I parked at the curb, sat quietly, hands on the folder in my lap. Inside were all the facts, every receipt, every timestamp, every lie. Then I got out and walked to the house. It smelled like chicken broth and rosemary. The kitchen lights were on. I heard quiet voices, silverware clinking, a laugh that didn't feel like mine anymore. They were all in the kitchen. Lisa sat on the counter, sipping coffee like she was a teenager again. David leaned against the fridge with his arms crossed. Mom dried dishes at the sink. Dad stirred something on the stove. They looked up when I walked in, and everything went still. I didn't say hello. I just walked to the kitchen island and set the folder down on the same counter we used to make cookies on. Then I opened it. "You all thought I stole from Mom," I said quietly. "Let me show you what really happened." The air changed, like right before a storm. I pulled out the first photo, a screenshot from the bank's camera, Lisa in sunglasses, leaning over the counter, signing something. October 10th, $20,000, not done online, not me. No one moved. Then the second photo, David smiling in a navy sweater, handing over a check. October 15th, $15,000. My voice shook a little, not from anger, but from trying to stay calm. These were the people I had loved and trusted. Lisa gripped her mug tighter. She started to say something, then stopped. I placed the teller slips on the counter. Same branch, Same signatures. I compared them to your handwriting, Lisa, from the note on the fridge last week. A pause. Then Lisa finally spoke. Her voice was thin. You went through our stuff? I tilted my head slightly. You went through Mom's. Mom reached out and picked up the papers, her hands shaky. She read them slowly. When she spoke, her voice was soft and sad. But the bank told me it was done online. They thought that, I said, but the money was taken in person. The online access came later, from a tablet using your Wi-Fi. The recovery email was tied to a phone number. David's. Silence. Dad stopped stirring. Lisa looked away. David stared at the floor like it might give him an answer. You let me believe my daughter stole from me, Mom whispered. She wasn't looking at anyone. You told me not to come home, I said, even softer, and you never asked if I did it. That was what hurt most, not the blame, not the legal threat. The fact that no one asked. Lisa finally looked at me. Her face was hard. Not sorry. You always get everything, the job, the attention, the respect. I just wanted things to be more fair. I stared at her. She looked older somehow, or maybe I was just seeing her clearly for the first time. You didn't make it fair, I said, you destroyed it. David cleared his throat. His voice was cold. She'll be fine, Mom. Teresa makes more than all of us. It wasn't personal. I let out a slow breath, my hand steady on the folder. But inside, I was shaking. It's always personal when it's family. I watched Mom slowly sit down at the table. The folder was still open in front of her. Her hands rested in her lap, palms up, like she didn't know what to do next. Dad finally spoke. Teresa, what are you going to do? I looked him in the eye. For the first time in a long while, I didn't feel like the kid in the room. I'm not going to press charges, but I sent everything to the family lawyer. What happens next is up to you. He gave one slow nod. He looked tired, older than I remembered. I zipped the folder shut. My hands moved out of habit, from years of meetings and investigations, but this time, it felt like the end. You told me not to come back unless I returned the money, I said. I didn't take it, but I did bring the truth. I gave them a moment to hear it. Then I turned to leave. Teresa, Mom said, her voice shaky. I stopped at the doorway. Thanksgiving's over, I said. You all made sure of that. I left the house without saying another word. Didn't take the folder, didn't take the pie. Just my car keys, and whatever part of me still believed they would have stood by me. I didn't drive off right away. I sat in the car outside for a while, watching the kitchen window from the curb. No one came out. The lights stayed on. Lisa didn't laugh again. David didn't come to the door. No one ran after me to say sorry. And that silence, told me everything I needed to know. Back in Boston, everything felt colder, quieter, sharper. I went back to work like nothing had happened, but I wasn't quite the same. I stopped calling on Sunday nights. Didn't check the family group chat. Let the voicemail icon sit there for 3 days before I finally listened. It was Mom. Teresa, we were wrong. I see that now. I didn't want to believe it. I'm sorry. I don't expect you to forgive us. I just wanted you to know. The house feels empty. She hung up before a minute had passed. 2 weeks later, a letter came. Real paper, real envelope. Inside was an old photo of me, Lisa, and David, sitting on the back porch when we were kids. I was the scarecrow. Lisa had shiny tinfoil wings. David was covered in red paint, probably meant to be a monster. On the back, someone had written, "We didn't know how much we would miss you until you were gone." No name, no explanation. David never called, neither did Lisa, but a cousin who still lived nearby told me they both moved out. Mom stopped talking to them, said she needed space. I didn't ask for details. I didn't offer to visit. Instead, I focused on something new. I started a weekend class at the community college, financial protection for older adults. It wasn't fancy, but it gave me purpose, something I could do, something I could control. One Saturday, after class, an older woman came up and said, "I wish I had a daughter like you." I smiled and thanked her. But in my head, I thought, so did mine. December came and went. No tree. No phone call. No ornament exchange, the tradition I always organized. And that's when I finally understood. There's a kind of grief no one talks about. Not the kind that comes from losing someone to death, but from realizing the people you love believed something false about you, and chose that lie over you. Once they made that choice, they couldn't undo it. I still have the folder. Not on my desk, not in my office. It's tucked away in a drawer near the bookshelf, under old tax papers and a copy of the mortgage. I haven't opened it since that night. I don't need to. Because the truth hasn't changed. And neither have I.